Jake, our Tennessee Titans.
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt.
Never a
I don't
doubt.
know. Were you on Twitter? There's always doubt on Twitter with this fan base, but I don't know. It's probably more NFL fan base in general about their teams when they go down in the game. But this Tennessee Titans team, man, this is one of the best things I think Vrabel has brought to this team, and why I think he's a great head coach. He has instilled this culture of never quitting, never giving up. This Titans team is going to fight to the end, no matter what. We've seen it time and time again this year. Even in losing efforts like the Steelers game, I mean, that was a valiant comeback. That wasn't. But this week, this game, the Tennessee Titans went into Baltimore and doubled down on their previous victory in the playoffs last year, beating the Ravens in an overtime thriller, 30-24 off of the King himself, leading us to the promised land. Man, what a nerve-wracking game, a back and forth battle. The Titans coming from behind in the second half. Jake, I'm just at a loss for words. There is so much to talk about in this game. And I don't know if we're going to get to all of it, or because we're going to forget about something. But Jake, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
For sure. Tons to talk about. You said it. But a lot of good, some bad, some kind of just wacky little pieces to dissect into this game. But wow. I was among the wave of negativity in that mid third quarter range when they went down. Titans went down 21-10 in this game. Mm-hmm. And, the Ravens, they're kind of built to get these double digit leads and then kind of just pummel you down and kind of put their foot on your neck. But they were not able to do that against this Titans defense. How about this Titans defense showing up yesterday?
Who are these guys?
Who is this Titans defense? You love to see their performance. The Ravens only had 306 total yards of offense yesterday. So definite great strides from the defense there. But yeah, tons to talk about. I don't know. Will you kind of want to just go with the flow of the game? I thought the offense came out, started hot again, but then they sputtered again. They've had these great opening drives that we've seen that result in 7 points, but then 4 or 5 third and outs or 6 and outs, to follow. I don't know. What do you think of the offensive as a whole yesterday?
Yeah, that first drive of the game was great. The definitely helped out by penalties, and that became kind of a theme too. The Ravens really shot themselves in the foot a few times. The first one being on that first throw to AJ Brown, but I don't know, like, what do you kind of do as a defender? AJ Brown is just such a big body, it was a good pass too. And I actually kind of want to see AJ Brown come down with those passes. I think if he goes up and attacks that ball, he could have come down with it. We'll get more into AJ Brown though. Kind of early on struggled with a drop here or there, but of course he rebounded in the most beastly way possible.
Very much so.
But yeah,
very much so.
Offense first drive of the game, goes right down the field, scores a touchdown. And you know what my favorite play of that drive was? Big time shout out to Cam Batson. I mean, we're facing a 3rd and 11, and I don't know what number progression he was for Tannehill on that play, but it was a great play. And Batson as your 4th, 5th wide receiver option, if he converts a 3rd and long just once a game, that's good. That's huge. I mean, that's pretty much doing your job. Yeah. And
we have yet to see Tannehill go to those check down, that 4th, 5th option. It seems like that's never an outlet for this offense to get checked down to. And he was wide open, had 10 yards in front of him. And that's Cam Batson's bread and butter, man. If he's in space, he's quick enough to pick you up those first downs. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. No, yeah. I mean, I was just going to say about, Cam Batson has definite speed and ability with the ball in his hands. Missing, you almost forget that Adam Humphries isn't in this game because he stepped up, did some Adam Humphries type of things. But yeah, good to see Cam Batson coming along. I guess he's ahead of Khalif Raymond at this point on the depth chart. Maybe Khalif Raymond
I was going to say, disappearing act from Khalif Raymond. I haven't seen his snap count yet, but I don't think Khalif showed up on the box score at all. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. No catches on the game, no targets, I don't think. So, crazy that Khalif Raymond had very high stock at the first, back in September, but now he's kind of just non-existent.
Yeah, he had a 100-yard receiving game, maybe against the Vikings or something. Randomly, he popped off for over 100 yards, but he's still back there returning, correct? Cam Batson was the kick returner. Oh, I forgot about that.
He had 1 or 2 fielded punts. They're kind of shuffling around, but yeah, man. And I think Cam Batson coming up and showing out in this game. Well, he didn't show out per se, but we saw some good things from Cam Batson. 2 receptions, 21 yards.
Yeah, but that big conversion, I mean, keeping the drive alive and then able to cash in on the touchdown. Like, that was a huge play, big time contribution.
And I think the other catch he had also might have gone for a first down, if I'm not mistaken. But it kind of speaks to this next man up mentality that the Titans are kind of employing, because they were as hurt as any team in the NFL is right now. At this point in the season, everybody's banged up, but the Titans especially. Clowney going to IR. You have no Kenny Vaccaro on the back end. I thought Amani Hooker came and played a great game yesterday. He had the great interception. But definitely, and it's this next man up mentality, and it's kind of that never quit, never say die kind of thing that we see under this Vrabel team. You mentioned it earlier, and they just really employed that yesterday. It was great to see.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see it again, because I think Ty Sambrailo is probably going to be gone for the season. And on the defensive side, we'll get to, of course, Jayon Brown. Man, that really killed my high whenever I saw that news break. I was like, oh, why can't I just be happy and enjoy this? On a dirty chop blocker, illegal clipping play. That those dirty Ravens just couldn't go without giving us one just sore eye. For in this game, but and then also big time shout out to Aaron Brewer, who stepped up for Roger Saffold, and I saw he graded out really well on PFF. Pro Football Focus. He was like I think he was 5th on the offense and best overall grade. So next man up. I love it. So
for sure.
If you want to continue on with the game flow, I don't know if we want to do like offense, defense separately, or just through the entirety of the game, because I do want to mention this next drive. It's a long drive by the Ravens. They get down in field goal range and kick a short chip shot field goal from Justin Tucker. And I said it before we came on, but this was kind of a return to the bend but don't break defense. We've seen that a lot in the past few seasons, even with Dean Pease and Dick LeBeau. Very common thing for the Titans to give up a lot of yards, let teams drive down. But when it comes down to crunch time in the red zone, they're able to get off the field and force field goals most of the time. And by the end of the game, that's really what kept us in it, I thought. So huge stop at keeping the Ravens down 7-3 at that point.
Definitely. And it continued throughout the game. The Ravens had 3 red zone trips. One was inside the 10, where they came away with field goals all 3 times. There was their first 2 scoring drives were both field goals inside the red zone. And then the late game field goal to tie, they were, 2nd and 6 at the 15. It was looking like they might score a touchdown and end up winning the game in regulation, but that defense held at the end there. I thought they did a great job of making Lamar Jackson uncomfortable yesterday. He never really seemed settled. We know Lamar Jackson's not a great passer by any means. He went 17 of 29, 186 yards. The touchdown to Mark Andrews was great from him. But then that interception was pretty much just an arm punt when, the Ravens could have had their foot on the gas and kind of really bled some clock there and put up points. But that was kind of just a bad ball. Amani Hooker, great play on the ball. But Lamar Jackson, kind of a pedestrian passing day and a pedestrian rushing day, honestly, as far as his, level of talent is concerned. He carried the ball 13 times for 51 yards. That's 3.9 yards a pop.
Didn't break any long ones. That's
didn't break any long ones. That was a huge one. And I thought that when the pressure got there, they kind of kept him contained. There wasn't very many scramble drills where he, killed us like maybe Pat Mahomes did last year, or even Lamar Jackson did last year to our defense. No big chunk scramble plays from Lamar Jackson. So that a great job by the defense. The Ravens did have 129 yards as a team, but the stable of running backs that they shuffle in and out, usually pretty good week to week. But I thought the defense did a great job, Justin.
Yeah, it was mostly Dobbins and Jackson. Like Greg Edwards and Mark Ingram only combined for 5 carries between them. So I guess, I don't know, maybe it was game flow dictating that. I thought Dobbins, he was, kind of gashing us here and there. Like he had several runs where it felt like he was picking up 7 to 10 yards. He had a pretty good day, 15 carries for 70 yards, but Again, no long ones. His longest rush of the game was 11 yards. So aside from that big Mark Andrews touchdown catch, and I think he did have one other big catch, like there were no really big plays that the defense allowed. So yeah, big shout out to these defensive backs too. Desmond King, Borders, Kevin Byard had a nice recovery and breakup in the end zone that saved a touchdown. Batting some passes away. These defensive backs, I thought, played very well because Mark Andrews was the only receiver that hurt us, and he's a tight end. Their leading receiver, who was a wide receiver, was Dez Bryant with 28 yards. Like these,
was that a flash from the past? Yeah.
These DBs were locking down these wide receivers, and thank goodness they were, because a lot of times, Mark Jackson was just kind of sitting there waiting on the pass rush to get there. Maybe not waiting on it, but he could sit back there because it wasn't getting there for it's been a problem all season. We finally got that sack in overtime. Huge play, finally hit home at the perfect time. Thank you, Harold Landry. But other than that, I think I mentioned it in the preview. Like, I almost would rather not there be a pass rush, because I don't want Lamar Jackson getting out and scrambling for a big play.
Yeah.
Put him in the pocket. Let him lob it to us for maybe an interception, which he did. But then, that's what you were talking about. It was a 1st and 10 play at midfield, and he just chucks up a jump ball, seemingly. Yeah. So that was an arm punt gift for us.
No doubt. I mean, you said it. He's becoming one of my favorite defenders, especially in the secondary. But Breon Borders, this practice squad dude, seemingly coming out of nowhere. Most Titans fans never heard of him before, midpoint this season. But he only allowed 2 catches for 22 yards on 6 targets. Great performance by him. He's really stepped up. He also had a pass breakup in this game. He's seeing significant stats, and he's performing in this role. So, again, we keep harping on that next man up mentality, but the Titans kind of have it. It almost seems like, when they're big guys, maybe like a Vaccaro, or, Jonathan Joseph gets cut. That's more of a household name than Breon Borders, or, who's coming in for Jadeveon Clowney. The name escapes me. But it just shows that these guys behind these more household names can still play up to par, and even sometimes better, frankly. I mean, I said it kind of jokingly, but it's kind of serious. I mean, the 2 best defensive performances, at least in my eyes, for the past, 8 or so games, Jadeveon Clowney didn't play in either of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that says. I am not trying to make that mean anything, but I'm just kind of putting that out there that with Clowney off of the field, it seems like this Titans defense kind of puts it together a little more.
Yeah, I mean, well, whatever that, it could be coincidence. I'm kind of looking. Derek Roberson, I guess, is benefiting from Clowney's absence as far as playing time. But looking at his stats, he had 1 tackle and 1 QB hit. I mean, that's kind of what Clowney was giving us production-wise. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's just different gelling things going on. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get Clowney back for the rest of this season. But yeah, I mean, the defense is not really affected, I think, whether he is or is not in the lineup.
And that sucks. You gave him, $12+ million to come here and kind of be your premier edge rusher, and it's just not happening, man.
Yeah. So back, I guess, to the game flow, because after that first touchdown from the Titans, we did see, that kind of stall, and it's like, oh, all right, here we go. This could be a slog through. And I think it was that second drive where Tannehill had that bad interception, and this pass protection was very suspect. And I think it was getting to Tannehill's head. I think he was kind of rushing through progressions. He felt uncomfortable. I think it was Jeremy McNichols was the running back on that play who went just to the wrong side. I don't know if he was expecting a blitz over there, if his assignment was to look for or to help block on the right side. But that pressure came right up the middle. And I don't even think Tannehill was looking whenever he threw.
Yeah,
he saw someone coming down the middle, and he just slung it down the middle. It's like, no, Tanny, no.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. It's just because he got absolutely blown up, Justin. I mean, you and me wouldn't have even gotten a pass off. We would have just crumpled to the ground. But
we wouldn't have thrown a pick, Jake. We wouldn't have thrown a pick and put our defense in that situation.
Spin zone.
Yeah, so we could have handled that better than a professional quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. No, I know what you're saying though.
He was absolutely drilled. I said it right, right when he threw it before it was even a pick, like, oh God, he just got absolutely obliterated. But I will say, all things considered, I was happy with Ryan Tannehill's performance yesterday. We've kind of seen it throughout the year. The offense starts hot. They really, really sputter, 3 and outs aplenty in that second, third, early third quarter range. But you see Tannehill and Derrick Henry and AJ Brown for that matter, that, 3-headed monster that is the Titans offense. They really come alive when it matters, late third quarter, getting into the fourth quarter, and even overtime. They kind of put together the drives when they have to have it. And Ryan Tannehill has consistently done that. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with Tannehill's performance.
Yeah. How many comebacks does he have as a Titan in just 2 seasons? It's pretty incredible. He does give you that feeling, like, as long as it's a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter, and if we have the ball, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances. Like, he's been clutch. That clutch drive in overtime too. Corey Davis coming alive. It's pretty incredible. If you want to keep going, I guess, with the game flow, if this is how we're doing, we flip around sudden change. No, you're good. A sudden change defense or whatever they call it, but they didn't break. We forced another chip shot field goal in that situation. So clutch defensive stops coming up, even when the offense is making the mistakes this time. So, man, yeah. And then offense going 3 and out again. Then the Ravens string together a long touchdown drive to make the score 14-7 after getting a 2-point conversion. And I mean, that's just going to happen. I mean, it's the Ravens offense. They're tough to stop.
I said it in the preview, the Ravens are going to score points. They're going to get theirs. So it's kind of more on the Titans offense here. I mean, the Titans defense played a great game. Yes, they gave up 24 points, but it's to one of the more potent offenses you'd say in the NFL. So they definitely did their job, and then the offense held up their end of the bargain. Going into halftime, it was a close game. I think it was the 14-10 mark.
14-10, and hold up, back up. Here's our chance to talk about special teams, because on that drive to get the field goal, not only did Gostkowski make that field goal, but what set him up was the Vrabel decision for the fake punt around midfield. It was like 4th and 7. Hello to special teams, Logan Woodside. And how about, I think that might have been his first NFL pass completion. I don't know if he's actually completed a pass, but
and let me tell you, Justin,
yeah,
that thing was a bullet. That was an absolute on a rope pass, right where it needed to be, right on the sideline with just enough for the first down. It was absolute. It was beautiful. Yeah. Also, because we didn't get to see Trevor Daniel swing his leg. We don't. Trevor Daniel did nothing to sell me on him being the punter over Ryan Allen until Brett Kern gets back. But that's not kind of the story of this game. But yeah, shout out Logan Woodside, the gusto to go with the fake punt. And then after the fake punt, we did get that drive aided again by penalty. Ryan Tannehill got hit low on the next third down. That was an AJ Brown drop.
Yeah, so that was that
early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, hate to see that from AJ Brown. And I thought we kind of got lucky with that roughing the passer call. That was low-ish, but he was still at the torso. Mm-hmm. Tannehill's just like really long and tall. So usually if that's a hit to the knees, that's going to be Ryan Tannehill's belly or something.
Yeah.
When I saw the replay, I was like, all right, I'll take it. But I would be if I was a Ravens fan right now.
So for sure. And then Gostkowski was perfect on the day. I mean,
under 50 yards. The mid-range was there. Yeah. Thank the Lord. He had, I think it was 2 exactly 40-yard field goals and then a chip shot and then hit both extra points. I'm still, he hadn't missed a kick up until the end of the game, but I'm very happy that Derrick Henry just decided to. Mm-hmm. I think I would have blacked out if I saw the kick going up in the air. I would have just blacked out. I couldn't take it. I wouldn't be able to watch that go through or miss.
I was waiting on it. We'll get to it kind of, I guess we're going game flow, but at the end with Derrick Henry's touchdown, I don't know if you saw the stat, but only 2 NFL games that have gone into overtime this year ended on touchdowns. Derrick Henry has both of those touchdowns against Houston and then yesterday against Baltimore. So just a little fun little statistical treat for you.
And he's the only player in NFL history to have 2 walk-off touchdowns in overtime in the same season. And I think he's the only one with him and LaDainian Tomlinson are the only ones to have like 2 of those in their whole careers or something like that. So I mean, he's the walk-off king at this
He
point.
is. He is.
So yeah, fantastic. So, second half comes along, offense, 3 and out, 3 plays, 4 yards, punt. The Trevor Daniel show, like you were not impressed with his
lit it up. 40 his
That's
46 and a half yard average. Yeah, he knocked a 41 yarder. He just boomed it for 41 yards. That's great. That's great.
That's great. Big highlight. Yeah. Hey, and you said, Trevor Daniel, this is not the story at all of the game. That's a very good thing. I never want Trevor Daniel to be a story ever again, because that means he did something terrible.
Mm-hmm. Whereas he was the story of the Colts game. Yeah. I agree. That's a good point.
So kind of the last time the defense, was fell apart on a drive was the Ravens' next drive. I think that was the Mark Andrews touchdown reception. It was a nice little route. I think it was kind of improvised. I think how Tony Romo was breaking it down, where Lamar Jackson threw it up and over to the other shoulder because there was no safety back there. So it was a nice ball placement. Lamar Jackson is super talented still, and he can make those throws and he can anticipate things.
That was one of his better balls of the day. I was going to say the same thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a couple field goal drives. It goes from 21-10 to 21-13 to 21-16. I did want to ask you this. What did you think about the decision on that 4th and 2, and we're at the 8-yard line? It's 21-13. I was kind of surprised that Vrabel opted for the field goal, because he's usually a risk taker and gambler.
Yeah.
But I was almost kind of preferring for us to go for it, and it ended up working out in the end. But I don't know. What were you thinking during that situation?
Yeah, I mean, we usually see Mike Vrabel be aggressive in these types of situations. I didn't necessarily disagree with the call. I'm just glad Gostkowski put it between the uprights, if I'm going to be frank. We were going to need the points anyway, I think, and we ended up needing those points in the end of the game. So it didn't necessarily make or break the game. But what I'm more kind of concerned about, at least in this stretch of the game, you said a couple of field goal drives.
Right.
Ryan Tannehill has been the most efficient red zone quarterback. The Ryan Tannehill-led Titans offense has been 80% touchdowns in the red zone since he took over. That's easily the best in the NFL in that time span. And then they had 2 drives where they had 1st and goal, Justin, that ended in field goals.
I'm kind of glossing over huge 2 huge moments and drives in the game. And then we get a couple field goals. No, these should have been touchdowns. We had the Ben Jones. By the way, this Ben Jones play where he was out for a play. Did you see that replay? He was digging into that was a bad eye poke. That should have been a penalty, right? It looked like his hand was caving in Ben Jones's face, and his neck was down to his chest. It was ouch, dude. Props for Ben Jones for only missing 1 play, but the 1 play he missed, and it was because he was
snap over Derrick Henry's head. Now, I don't disagree with the Wildcat call. We've seen the Titans break out this Wildcat with Derrick Henry constantly, and it constantly works. I mean, I saw Jim Wyatt a comment, a tweet from him where his argument was, do you call a Wildcat shotgun snap with your backup center coming in for 1 play? Well, if he's in the NFL snapping the ball, he should be able to get 1 shotgun snap.
Right.
Come on. So that's just kind of a fluky play.
You got to be able to execute a snap, dude. It should not matter. It should have been a simple snap, not a shotgun snap. It's a snap. This is easy stuff.
And you have one of the biggest targets you could have back there. Just hit Derrick Henry in the chest. I mean, he's got a lot of surface area to hit back there.
I'm very impressed that he was able to even miss Derrick Henry. Yeah. And then the second one, it was kind of an audible, I think, that Tannehill called, because he was under center, and then he was calling some stuff out. Then he backed up next to Henry, and Tannehill drops the snap, and then he gets sacked right after that. So it's wait.
That was the final drive of the game.
Yeah, because the play after that was the beast mode AJ Brown. So what was the other instance? Remind me of what. I guess those were the 2 kind of poorly executed.
That was the 4th
plays,
and 2.
Yeah. So
There was the snap over Derrick Henry's head was the first one, and then the 4th and 2, like, debatable call there. I think they just kind of stalled out. We saw it constantly on Sunday. The classic Titans drive, run on first down, 2nd and 7, 2 incomplete passes, punted away, and that was kind of how that drive started. I think.
And now I'm remembering I was frustrated with the second field goal because I think Henry had gotten us. He was rolling and he had ran the ball down to make it at like a 2nd and 2. And I think we went away from him for the next 2 plays. And I think he might have even went out for a play and then came back in, and he didn't get the ball either time. So I love Arthur Smith. He's been a godsend as offensive coordinator, but I feel like he still has moments of he's when he's on, but then he does stuff where it's like, you just kind of go with what's working right now in the moment. Like and I understand you kind of have to change it up. Maybe the Ravens were definitely going to shut down Henry. They were starting to completely stack the box at that point. Who knows? And he had to, keep him off balance a little bit, but it's like, dude, Henry's feeling it. Just give him the ball. It's 2nd and 2. We're at the 8-yard line, 3rd and 2. Let's just run him all the way to the end zone. Yeah. And then
it might be a specific to a Titans fan feeling, but I think I think I'd mentioned it in the preview. It drives me nuts when Derrick Henry has a gashing run, 8-9 yards, and it's 2nd and short, and they take him out of the game. And when Derrick Henry starts ripping off those kinds of runs, if you give it to him again, it will happen again. It's kind of that momentum kind of carrying back that Derrick Henry is. And it drives me absolutely bonkers when they take him off the field on a 2nd and short. Give it to him again, get a new set of downs. If you want to throw the ball, do it after you get the first down with Derrick Henry. I would rather see them be in 3rd and short after Derrick Henry being stuffed on second down, rather than an incomplete pass or just some crazy getting cute kind of play.
It's kind of wild that we're saying this, but Derrick Henry still ended the game with 28 carries, and it's like, why is he coming out of the game?
Give him the ball.
Giving him the ball. He should have been carrying it more, which is absurd. And he has to come out for a breather. He's got to have a break. You want to keep him fresh. Into that 4th quarter as fresh as you can. Point. So I understand. Needing to go away from Derrick Henry play calls. One more thing about Derrick Henry, real quick. I don't know if you guys out there noticed this or if you're noticing this, Jake, but I thought Derrick Henry had a really good game pass blocking. There were several times where there would be a play action pass and he would get the fake handoff and he would stand up the guy that he was supposed to block. And that was fantastic to see, because that's kind of been a black mark on his ability as a running back, is that he's bad at pass protection. But I thought he did a pretty good job. There were several times I saw him just stand up a pass rusher.
And maybe he's now the best in the stable of backs at pass protection. I mean, we do have the glaring Jeremy McNichols letting the guy absolutely demolish Tannehill play, so that kind of sticks out. They do bring in McNichols on 3rd down to pass protect, but I mean, it is only going to benefit the Titans, especially in their play action game, if Derrick Henry improves as a pass blocker. I'd rather them have a better screen game, frankly. We might as well not even run screens at this point, because it seems they never work. But that's kind of a different conversation. Anyways, we're kind of getting towards the end of the game. We have 21-16.
So this next drive was huge, where the Ravens kind of shot themselves in the foot yet again. Remember, they had that the defense comes up with a huge 3rd and 1 stop, I think, and it's 4th and 1, and then Mark Andrews, I think it was, commits a false start. So that could have been a huge point in the game where they might have been able to, there was 7-ish minutes left at that point. So there was still time, but that was a huge moment where they could have, either built on their lead. They could have put the game away with a touchdown. They could have, made it even harder by kicking a field goal. But the false start ends up having them to force a punt to us to give Tannehill that last 90-yard touchdown drive to take the lead. So
that's what I was saying.
But also, Ravens were making mistakes. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, Titans defense has to capitalize on these mistakes, which we haven't seen them do this season. Whenever a team does get a holding call or a false start call that backs up maybe a 3rd down try, they give it up anyway. It doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 23. It seemed like they gave it up every time.
Yeah.
But going back in the 90-yard touchdown drive to go ahead with, just minutes left in the game, Tannehill again delivers when it matters, and A.J. Brown makes up for his recent drops in spades.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, if I'm not mistaken. And that ball was thrown on a slant, maybe 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. He had 6 yards to go just to get the first down. I thought for sure he's going to go down. We're going to have to go for it. But A.J. Brown, wow, just all muscle, all just raw want to wherewithal to get in the end zone there. It was awesome.
I thought I was holding off my celebration because it looked like the play clock had ticked to 0, like a hair before Tannehill got the snap. And of course, the TV clock may not be the official timekeeping, but I was like, "There's going to be a flag. There's going to be a flag." Holy crap! A.J. Brown just had a Titans play of the year moment there, and it's going to come back. Oh my God! There's not a flag. I can't believe it. And then I could celebrate, but also lost in A.J. Brown's game because of that beastly touchdown reception. He had a couple beastly receptions. He had like 4 catches. They were all beastly, especially the one that came previously. It was on the near sideline. He broke a tackle and he was kind of dancing, tiptoeing down the sideline for an extra 10, 15 yards, breaking tackles again. That was also, he was a beast. He was pissed at himself is what I took from it. He was kind of trying to make up for his recent drops.
And he continues to be that yards after catch kind of god that he has been for this team. We've seen him take a lot of those, 10-yard digs or, maybe even just a simple slant, cut it right back, make a guy miss or shove a guy off and take off down the sideline.
If we're talking about the screen game, why aren't we trying to throw screen passes? It seems like he's the perfect receiver to throw a screen pass to, but it's who do we throw screen passes to? I mean, we try it with Henry.
Cam Batson and Raymond.
Yeah, Cam Batson.
It's just not working. But great play, very much the inject this into my veins kind of play of the day, kind of the play of the last couple of games, frankly. But we see the bend but don't break defense again after the Ravens come down. They had a ton of time left. They had 2 timeouts, and it was kind of God, hold your breath for however long. They came down.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead. Finish it.
All good. But they come all the way down, and they have 2nd and 6 from almost the 10-yard line, maybe 15.
Yeah.
I'd have to watch the highlights back, but I'm thinking, Lamar's going to throw a sidearm, just absolute bullet to Mark Andrews, and it's going to tear out our hearts. But bend but don't break. They didn't give it up. Justin Tucker sends it to overtime. But yeah, well, I don't know what you were going to say there, but
I was going to say, you would love to see the defense close the game right there, get a stop. That would be a feel good, that we were able to, take control, take the lead, and then close them out. But in hindsight, I'm kind of glad we didn't, and the game went to overtime because we got a sweet Derrick Henry highlight out of that we'll see for years and years to come. So maybe the defense knew that, hey, let's send this thing to overtime so that Derrick Henry can get another chance to,
be the king.
Be a king in Baltimore and have another moment like that against this team, and he sure did. I do want to throw this out there. Remember that A.J. Brown, Corey Davis had 0 catches in the first half. Henry had 30-ish yards or say. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at their final stats, Corey Davis ended up having a 100-yard game. Brown had 62 and a touchdown, and then Henry had 90 yards in the fourth quarter alone and overtime.
Yeah.
So this team, just completely popped off. Our 3-headed monster, like you had referred to him earlier, just came alive, and we looked kind of unstoppable at times. All those players were just turning it on. So I don't know what changed, but maybe it was just wearing down Baltimore, wearing them down with these big physical players. But we just Tannehill once again. Leading us down the field on a 6-play, 73-yard drive. Of course, 29 of those was the last walk-off touchdown. Mm-hmm. But again, Tannehill not, no flinch.
Touchdown drives when it matters. Yeah, it doesn't flinch. Crunch time. I mean, even going back to the Marcus Mariota Titans, it just seems like this team has been good when they need to be good, especially when it comes into crunch time late in games. It feels like, as stagnant as they can be throughout the game, And even, bringing in Ryan Tannehill, he is stagnant as they can be throughout the game, as, many 3-and-outs as they might have. They put together the long, sustained touchdown drives when it's needed. And it's nice to have the talent like A.J. Brown, like Derrick Henry, like Corey Davis, or, even Jonnu surrounding the quarterback position to consistently do that. And that's why they're 7-3, frankly, Dustin. That's why they're winning ball games.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the reason for how this team started out 5-0 with all those close wins. Like so many clutch plays and drives from the offense. And I would be remiss too. I mean, I wanted to rush to that Derrick Henry touchdown run, the walk-off drive or whatever in overtime. But before that, the Titans lost the coin toss, and this defense came right back out onto the field after allowing that long, quick game-tying field goal to send it to overtime. And here they come back again, 3-and-out, getting a first sack of the game at the perfect time. Harold Landry was credited with it, but him and Simmons kind of collided there at the same time to bring down Jackson. So huge.
Could not have come at a better time.
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe that they got off the field as quick as they did. Like, I expected Baltimore at least get a first down, at least get to, midfield and make me sweat a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But, what a great performance by the defense in overtime. Really clamp down, get the sack on Lamar. Just nuts. And then, once the Titans got the ball back and you saw the first Derrick Henry run of 5+ yards, you thought this game's on ice. Just give it to him.
You really have that.
Give it to him over and over again. I believe Corey Davis had a big catch in the overtime period there as well, so I want to give him his props. Yeah. Once you get late into the fourth quarter, in overtime, especially if the Titans offense have the ball, it's going to be the Derrick Henry show, and teams can't stop it.
Man, and it's so nice to have. And it looked good. Oh, I did tweet this too. I retweeted that highlight touchdown run, and he looked like he was still fresh and had burst. And that was his 28th carry, and he hit the hole hard. And we've seen him make those cuts before, but that was like so smooth, and it looked, that was like the best cutback I think I've ever seen Derrick Henry make. And I can't believe that is also in his arsenal of weapons. He can cut right through you or just throw your head into the ground with a stiff arm. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it when he can make that cut, or even, in his zone read where he's kind of waiting on the hole. If he can put his foot in the ground and get ahead of steam, it's over. And as soon as he cut back, I knew it was over. He's gone. Yeah, he's going to go into the end zone.
Running away from the safeties back there. Well, shoot, yeah. So like that's the game that the team now finds themselves at 7-3, and the stinking Colts somehow pulled off a win against the Packers. Thank you, kick returner, whoever you were for the Packers, who fumbled that kickoff to not give Aaron Rodgers the ball for a chance at least at the end. Yeah. So here we are again with the Colts coming up. I don't know, any initial thoughts? I mean, this Colts team, after beating the Packers, like, are they not for real? Like actual AFC contenders for real? Like, they have some quality wins now.
Well, I said it coming into this game. I didn't have a lot of faith in the Titans to win this game against the Ravens. I'm ecstatic that they did. I see a lot of positives in how they did it. And
you need to pick against the Titans. I picked more and more because
exactly.
We always win when you do.
Whenever I pick against the Titans, they pull out the win. That's just the kind of way it goes. But I didn't have a lot of faith in the Titans to win this game. So I said coming into this one, if Green Bay gets the job done in Indy, the Titans are playing for the lead in the division again next Sunday. Well, Green Bay didn't get the job done, but the Titans got the win, and they're playing for the lead in the division again on Sunday. I think this Colts team is beatable. I think you got to get to Phillip Rivers and disrupt him. Once he gets frazzled back there, he can't pick you apart anymore. He's going to throw you those interceptions. The Titans defense has to show up big next week if they expect to win this game. But as far as going ahead in the schedule goes, huge win under the Titans belt. I think they do get to 10-6. I see 3 wins on their schedule. I mean, hopefully they can get the job done against Jacksonville, Houston and Detroit.
Detroit just got shut out 20-0 against the Panthers. What was that about? I think I picked the Lions. I think we all picked the Lions to win that game.
Yeah.
Video. That was, I don't know. I didn't go back to watch the highlights. I don't know what happened there, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they have to be beatable now for the Titans for sure.
Exactly. So hopefully you see 3 wins there, and then you have, Cleveland and Indianapolis, and then Green Bay, who this Colts team beat. I think Green Bay is beatable.
The defense is not that great. Yeah, so
if you can put together 3 to 4 wins, that puts you at 11-5, 10-6, and I think that gets you into the playoffs. Whether the Titans win the division really hinges on Sunday. If they lose, I think it's pretty much all but the Colts division. I think the Titans beating Baltimore, especially right now with that 6-3 logjam, that puts them in a much better place as far as the wild card race goes. You don't have to worry about the Ravens as much. You're a game ahead. You have the tiebreaker head to head. So the Titans did nothing but benefit themselves on Sunday with this win, as all wins in the NFL kind of tend to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, going back to like the Colts schedule too, and if they do end up sweeping the Titans this season, their schedule's not that hard. I think they do get this. They still have to play the Steelers, and I think they still have to play the Raiders, and also they have to play a Houston Texans team twice. And I think they can still be a dangerous team. Deshaun Watson is having an outstanding season. It's crazy that the Texans are wasting a prime year of Watson this year. It sucks for them, but one of those games could go the Texans' way too. So the Colts could be looking at some L's coming up on their schedule too. So even if the Titans lose next week, I still don't think the division is necessarily settled after that point. But yeah, if
it would be an uphill battle.
Yeah, it would still be an uphill battle for sure. But yeah, especially after this Baltimore win, playoffs for sure are back on the menu for the Titans, because I know we were kind of sitting at the bottom of those 6-3 teams because of tiebreakers. But yeah, we have a win over the Ravens. We have a win over the Bills. This team is one of the best in the AFC. We've competed with the best. Like I said, beating the Bills, beating the Ravens. We really could have beaten the Steelers. I hate getting back to that game, because that was ours if we didn't start out so terribly, or if
Gostkowski can send it to overtime.
Or even the offense kind of sputtered at the end of that drive. I thought we could have scored a touchdown to win that game and didn't need a field goal attempt. And then the Colts game, we had this terrible special teams collapse. So that one ended up being a little more lopsided. But yeah, and then the loss to the Bengals, we don't have to talk about that. That's a different lifetime.
That's a wash.
But yeah, this team, they can compete with anybody, I think. It's hopefully they show up better against the Colts.
We're going to Lucas Oil. You know what happens there, Justin. That's where Titans' dreams go to die. But yeah. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're right. Well, I was going to say we didn't come out flat against the Colts. We put up 17 points in the first half, and then it's the second half, which is weird because we've been talking about how this Titans team is more of a second half team. They do turn it on more so at the end instead of getting those fast starts. That was a weird game, and the opposite kind of happened. But so we'll see. We'll see if they can come out hot in the first half and the second half against.
That would be great.
We're probably going to need We're going to need a good 60 minutes of football to win in Indianapolis. That's for sure.
Spoken like a true coach there, Justin. I like it.
Need 60 minutes. We need to bring our hard hats. We need to go to work.
3.5 hours. Yeah, I like it. Good stuff. A situation also moving forward to keep an eye on. I think several Ravens players and personnel tested positive for COVID last night. This is a song and dance we've seen as Titans fans before. Fingers crossed that nothing blows up and affects this Colts game. But we'll see going forward. I mean, Mike Vrabel's doing his presser. I believe he started right as we started filming.
Yeah.
So I believe they're just following protocols, waiting on the league, but something to keep an eye on moving forward this week. Hopefully, the bad blood and the no handshaking after the game against the Ravens, hopefully prevented some disease spreading.
Yeah, we said there's so much to talk about from this game, and I wanted to get to that, and we almost missed it. But okay, so the Titans come out and are jumping around on their logo, getting themselves pumped up. And it's weird because I've seen that before. Teams will do that, but this is very uncharacteristic of a Titans team to do it. I don't think I've ever seen the Titans, get hyped like that or jumping around on the opposing field's logo. And I mean, whatever you have to do to get yourself up for that game. But yeah, no, I was like, this is different. I don't remember a Titans team doing this. And then, the Harbaugh came out and Butler was jawing, and then Vrabel came around. And so, I don't know, they had an issue with it. I would be pissed, if I was a Titans fan and another team was jumping around on the Titans symbol at midfield. I'd be like, hey, screw you guys, go away. But whatever.
I'm sure that's exactly what Harbaugh said to Malcolm Butler.
Hey, go away, you.
Hey, go get the heck away.
Gosh darn it.
Something like that. But, maybe uncharacteristic from a Titans team, but from a team who's lost 3 of their last 4 games, I kind of like to see the fire. I like to see this rivalry renewed. I was a little young for the first kind of era of this rivalry. The Eddie George, Ray Lewis. I was kind of 4 or 5 years old.
Hated the Ravens back in the day.
I am very happy to see it come around.
Yeah, it's still alive. Yeah, for me today. And now we're kind of seeing that clashing kind of. There's still bad blood between these two teams from the old AFC Central days. And I don't know. And now it's weird. We've never had the Ravens number. Yeah, we've beaten them a few times. We beat them in the playoffs in 2003 in a classic close game when Steve McNair was the co-MVP. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we do have some big-ish wins in our history, but it's always been the Ravens have the Titans number. They have ruined 2 of our Super Bowl seasons and delivered us some, and they've always just beaten us even whenever we're good. But now we have 2 straight wins against them. And now it's kind of like the Titans currently have the Ravens number. This is a feeling I've never had. And so they're starting to feel the hatred that Titans fan base has felt towards them for so many years. So it's like, now you know how it feels. Yeah.
And the shoes on the other foot. We're wearing the winning shoes.
Yes. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
Winning shoes feel good.
Yeah. They fit better for sure. The weird, I don't know about the handshake stuff, but if it's going to reignite this rivalry, then great. I think it's a great rivalry that needs to come back.
For sure. And I would, like I was saying, you love to see the fight and kind of some grit and some nastiness from this team in contrast to just laying down after losing 3 out of 4 games. That's something I personally, as a fan, like to see some kind of fight, some kind of energy, some kind of passion.
I think that's what caught me off guard about it too. I was like, the Titans are reeling right now. We've lost 3 of 4. We're coming off a bad home loss on prime time to the Colts. And now here we are jumping around in the Ravens house, getting hyped. And I'm like, oh, we're very excited to play this game. We're ready to go. That is nice to see then. Yeah.
And it showed. They got the win. I thought the defense stepped up, played great. But yeah, man, all in all, a good day for the Titans, all things considered. Yes, there were some offensive sputtering, defense, bend but don't break. That's a lot better than what they have been doing. They've just been mostly breaking the whole time.
Yeah.
So a lot of positive things in this game, a lot of positive things to look forward. I'm sure the injury list, like you said, there were some big injuries in this game. Tyson Braylo, Jayon Brown. I'm sure the practice report on Wednesday is going to be an absolute laundry list.
And AJ Brown was getting banged up too. I mean, I'm sure he's going to play on Sunday against the Colts, but I wouldn't be surprised if he misses 2 days of practice. Maybe he might miss the whole week of practice. But yeah, he was definitely looking like he was banged up by the end of the game there. So yeah, hearts going out to Jayon Brown. Dude, I really hate to see that because I think he was really he was having a good season. He's our leading tackler by far, by like 20 tackles. And he had like 8 passes defensed on the season. I looked at his stats. I was like, okay, it's like how good of a season was he having statistically? He matched his 8 passes defensed in 10 games this year, and I think he played in all 16 last year. So like he was, at least statistically speaking, on track to have one of his best career seasons.
In a contract year at that, Yeah. This is his contract year. We'll see.
Poor guy.
Maybe the injury causes a team-friendly deal for Jayon. I don't foresee us. I mean, if the price is right, we'll probably get Jayon Brown back. I don't think he's going to demand a high number on the open market by any means. But yeah, definitely a tough blow dealt to this Titans defense.
So next man up, looking at you, David Long Jr. and straight out of Compton, is I guess going to be playing a bigger role now too. So
for better or for worse, Titans fans, for better or for worse.
Next man up, yeah. And then I think it's excuse me, Quisenberry. I think is the guy they're going to be looking at to replace Sam Braylo at left tackle.
I mean, and when are we going to see Isaiah Wilson make a debut for this Titans team? He suited up for the very first time. Even with all the injuries and the shuffling of the offensive line, we didn't see him. He doesn't. The coaches just keep saying he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready. So
yeah,
I'm willing to bet, with the offensive line being as battered as it is, if he's not ready, he's really not ready. So
yeah,
we'll see if we get a debut from him.
I'm glad you brought him up too, at least, because even though he didn't play and he may not be ready, I liked what I saw from him in the times that they cut to him. Like, he was standing on the sideline, like close to the field with his helmet on, and like he was engaged. And I was surprised to see, if you go back and watch the Derrick Henry touchdown run, he's one of the first guys like down there and banging heads with Henry.
Wow.
And that's like, thank you. At least we know that you give a crap and you care and you want to be a part of this. Like that's a positive thing for me, because I think a lot of people were like, he had all those off-season issues. Like, dude, he's so disconnected. I don't know. Does he even care about football? Is he going to be a Vic Beasley and just kind of he's in it for the paycheck and then bounce? But, good to see, Wilson being excited and being ready and hungry to get on the field and be a part of this. So
no doubt.
Puts in the work, put in the practice, and maybe we can see him. And he could be a godsend for this offensive line when it's all said.
He could. He is one large human being. So
just have him stand there. It'll take defenses long enough to get around him. Like that'll give Tannehill enough time for sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man. Well, lots more optimism moving forward, especially going into this huge matchup in Indy. We are again, deja vu, major matchup with the Colts coming up. Any kind of closing thoughts as we close the book on this game, Justin? Just an all-around good performance from the Titans as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, overall good performance, and we've seen the culture of this team once again. The mindset that they have a very strong mentality. No matter how good or bad the game is going, this team is gonna give themselves a chance at the end, or at least they're never gonna stop fighting. I mean, even if it's in a blowout, they're not going to be folding or trying to fold or anything like that. Like this is why I kind of like to stay off Twitter during the games. Like I don't tweet. I don't know if you guys follow us on Twitter. Like as soon as the game ended, I rattled off like 4 straight tweets like in a row, and I didn't tweet at all during the game. There's just so much Titans are crap. This is an L, giving up, and I don't know. I just want to stay away from that and just keep myself locked into the game itself. But
for sure.
It feels great. It feels good. Don't give up on the Titans, people.
Don't give up.
Leads ain't nothing. It ain't nothing to Derrick Henry and the boys. So
love it. Good stuff. These episodes are always more fun to make after a win. There's no doubt there. And we've been absolutely. But yeah, this team is 7-3, tied for the division lead. I'm not going to acknowledge the tiebreaker because it might be not even existent come Sunday. So
right on.
A chance to take a game lead in the division. This team's 7-3, man. That's nothing to sneeze at. If you would have said 7-3 when the season started, you would have taken it 100 times out of 100. So maybe the way that they've gotten to 7-3 might not be so pleasing to the eye. But at the end of the day, 7-3. Playing for division lead in Indianapolis. Let's stay positive. Let's tighten up.
Positive.
Next man up. I'm pumped.
Let's go.
I'm so happy they beat the Ravens. Justin, anything to take us to the barn? Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz.
Yeah, you just said it. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Look forward to our Colts preview video coming out probably by the weekend. So, boom, check it out. Love you guys. Tighten up. 7-3 is my jam right now.
Peace.